Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to welcome you to the PDR Workshop live show, where every Monday at 9 p.m. we discuss things that impact the paintless dent repair industry. As always, we have Dave from Windy City Dent Repair. I'm sorry,
Okay.
yeah. And we have Ryan from RPS Dent Specialist out in Baltimore, Maryland.
What's up, guys?
And myself, Chris, at Dentless Touch, Washington, D.C. So this time we're going to do stuff a little different. We're going to do a recap of Mobile Tech Expo 2019. We had the most humbling experience at the show, at least for me it was. And I want to just say thank you for anyone that came up to any one of us to thank us for putting on this show. I really, really appreciate all the support that you guys, bring, to us. So, do you guys want to say anything on that behalf?
Yeah, it was definitely an amazing outreach. I mean, we had a guy come, what was it, 15 hours
Yeah.
because we were talking about MTE on the show. So it was definitely really nice, as much time as we put into this, to see the outreach of people that were just really thankful. You know, it was just really nice. It was really, really nice. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
We don't ask for anything, guys, and just to thank you. We were just shocked. We were overwhelmed with support. I mean, it was crazy. So
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
I agree with both of these guys. Meeting a lot of you guys from the show, meeting a lot of new people as well this year is just like last year, the year before that I've gone, was really, really humbling. It was really cool to meet some of these guys. And, a lot of times we don't know your faces or something like that, even through Instagram and Facebook and stuff. Sometimes you get just caught up with the name. So to finally meet a lot of you guys in person was really, really cool. So I had a great time.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome, man.
yeah, definitely. All right, so I unfortunately was only able to go to one educational day class. Do you guys want to start off with some of the classes that you went to that or some of the information that you brought back that you made?
There were some really good information out there. Dave and I went to quite a few of them together, and the few that we brought up on the last show we really enjoyed. Didn't you think, Dave?
Yeah, there was one. I think it was the small businesses don't die; they commit suicide. One,
Yes.
Nice.
and that was a really, I think, humbling uh, class to say the least. Uh, I can't even remember all the information that was given. I have some of it written down. Then there was another class. I forget. I don't know what the name was, where Paul Daly explained his whole
Oh, yeah.
story, and uh, he was a wheel refinisher, grew that company into adding more services, ending up selling the company to Dent Wizard later on. Got to meet with Gary Vee throughout his career, stuff like that. So that was really, really cool to see. That was the legacy mindset. That was the legacy mindset class.
Right. Yeah.
And he was building his business with a legacy mindset. And, he was able to envision what he wanted, go through plenty of years, just grinding and hustling, and then able to, make something of it later. And he just explained that whole story and, what are the possibilities you can do with your company. And his was build it, build it, build it, and then sell it off. So that was really cool to see. And then the small businesses don't die, they commit suicide was just a lot of things that small businesses don't take into consideration while trying to build. A lot of it had to deal with finances, mismanagement of funds, and stuff like that. But then it was also what can you do to help your customer more? How can you hire the proper employee? Stuff like that. So really, really good insight there. That's what the two classes that I was able to attend.
And then that part, the PDR for beginners was actually a really good information. A lot of stuff that a lot of guys don't know. some of the laws, some of the federal laws. It was definitely some good info for the new guys. So I had two of my guys in there kind of getting the lowdown on, hey, you can do this. No, you can't do that. So that part always has good info.
Yeah, to briefly talk about, I think, Dave, what you were saying, it was like building a legacy business with Paul. Yeah, he was talking about that consistency over time equals momentum.
Yes.
And so that was the only class I went to. But I'm glad because he built something called, I think he called it the Provision inside of his company, which instills these values, guys, which is very
Exactly.
important. Let me go over the values: integrity, consistency, accountability, unity, gratitude, growth, grace. And those were all his values inside of that company. That was a very good class. Unfortunately, I only went to one, so I can only speak on it. But I've talked to a few guys there, and they said the classes were a lot better than last year. Do you agree?
Oh yeah. It was a different type of speaker. It was more. There was some really like in the
Yeah.
like the small business suicide one. He
Okay.
was a professional speaker. He knew what he was talking about. Like you could tell it was his passion. So it wasn't just like regular dent guys or companies in there talking. It was physical guys that do this for a living. So the classes, I mean, they were on point. The class you're talking about that you went to, Chris, he had a really cool thing, and it was the war coin.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That is such a cool, touch for a small company. I'm big into that. My mother was big with the military, and I have a ton of them. So that was kind of a nice touch of saying,
This is the coin, guys.
yeah, it was such a nice touch.
Had weight to it. I mean, he had
Yeah.
been $20 per coin at least. But it meant something. It seemed like he gave it to the guys, I guess. What did he say when they did something that displayed the values of the company? I think it was.
Yeah, something out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
That came to his attention. The class that Dave and I sat in, the small business, it said one thing I really enjoyed was thanks to my competition.
Mm-hmm.
And what it pretty much was saying that thanks to your competition makes you step up your game on the daily. It keeps you on that edge of your seat to where you're not complacent and just sitting back. It was just such a good class.
I wish I went, man. Y'all keep talking about this class.
And he was really dry. Like he was a dry guy, but let me tell you, the content was awesome. And he had little funny things on the screen. So it would be like his caption, and then there would be a picture of something. And some of the captions on it was like street signs, like weird street signs or signs on buildings that were spelled wrong, just to catch your attention. It was awesome. So you guys are going to have to check that one out next year. I'm sure he'll be there because it was a pretty good turnout for that one.
Yeah, so basically what we're saying, guys, is definitely pay for the education day if you can. You will find tons of knowledge, and you will benefit from it tremendously. I think the last class, like the only class I went to, I was amped up. I was ready to go home. I was ready to implement all these values. I mean, some of them we do, but great.
Well, you got to explain to these guys too. It's kind of what all three of us do. We're kind of in the recon business, and then he was big into the media, so it interests all of us. You could see the ears perk up.
Yeah.
So that was a good one, and he was a good speaker. He kept you engaged.
Yep. And the room was dead, but by
Yes.
the time he was done, everybody was listening. All right, so that was day one. Let's go on to day two, guys, which they finally opened up the exhibits, where the vendors section, where you could touch the tools, play around with the tools, and all that good stuff. What tool that you did not buy, guys, that you wish you did? Is there any tool, guys, that you saw that is on your wish list?
There's a couple of the Stanliner tools that I wish I had picked up. And then actually, I wish so. Today I was actually working with a local, I guess, competitor, but he's a good buddy of mine. So I got to touch the Ultra handle. Like I've been talking about it before, the Ultra set with the interchangeable handle. I've never actually used it. I was finally able to use it today, and I'm mad that I didn't get to go to the Ultra stand, at least check them out, and impulsively buy most likely the entire set. So I'm upset that I didn't get over to that.
Yeah. And yeah, that I saw their booth when they were packing it, tearing it down. So yeah, I'm with you, Dave, on that one. How did it feel? How did that interchangeable tip feel when you?
I really enjoyed it. It felt strong. It was sturdy. I had asked him, I said, what if you're pulling it out of something? Will that handle come off? He said, you're going to be just fine. And just so the ease of taking that handle on and off with each different accessory or, tip or tool or whatever you can attach to it. It was very tight. It was like I had just a single bend or a double bend in my hand without that interchangeable handle. It was very sturdy. Really enjoyed it. So I'm mad I didn't get over to them.
Ryan, do you have a tool that you were eyeballing but didn't get a chance to pull the trigger?
Not really. There was actually one of the Stanliner tools that I wanted to get, but it wouldn't fit in my luggage, and I didn't feel like dealing with all the shipping and all that stuff. So that may be on the purchase list. I spent like an hour and a half with Casimir, so I got a pretty good rundown of the whole Stanliner thing. So.
Nice. And you're going to be putting a video up, I'm pretty sure, right?
I am. It'll be out here sometime. It's so much footage.
My recommendation is a little voiceover with what's going through your head from time to time. That would be interesting as you're talking with Kaz. I don't know how much that's going to pick up in the video, but I would love to at least kind of get in your head of what you're thinking.
You can see it. I mean, it was two cameras shooting at the same time, so it was really good. I was very lucky to have that opportunity.
Yep. Just to remind you guys, we do have this on a podcast. It's going to be about a week behind, but if you are interested in listening to this again and supporting the podcast platform, head over to iTunes podcast, subscribe, and give us a review if you can. I forgot to say that in the beginning. The tool that I was looking at that I pretty much should have bought was, again, Ultra Dent Tools adjustable tip. I wish I spent more time looking at that. And I only saw James Lee's new Hail Light probably for 30 seconds. So I wish I was able to at least eyeball that. And that way, when he comes out with that in about 3 months, I think he told us, right, Dave?
March is what the game plan is.
Okay. So, I would be able to pick and choose which Hail Light. I'm looking for like one other Hail Light. So
his swivel adapter won't be available until mid-summer. So,
okay.
But he's going to release the light faster than that. He has all the lights. A lot of them are built. He had an issue with the plug off the back of it. So he got the parts. He's trying to make the adjustment. He's been messing with that light for 2 years.
Yeah.
So
he just said he wasn't happy. And then he did a new version of the version 3 where if anybody has that light, the suction cup basically automatically turns off and on and doesn't turn on when you unlatch off the vehicle. You have to do a hard press to get the suction to actually activate the motor. So is that the only thing, right? Or it's like different plastic? Okay. So
yeah.
I think if you order the new James Lee light, you will have that feature. I guess it was bothering him. It wasn't bothering me, but
he's so particular.
Yeah.
He really is. He's
pretty
hey,
crazy.
nothing wrong with that. Trying to
perfect.
get the
Perfect.
Yeah, get the best out there.
So as all this was going on, I believe on that Friday, Mobile Tech RX released a crazy update for their new app platform, guys. So this is even more of a chance for you to download their app, try it out, and this is what all three of us use. Go ahead and try that app. Have you guys used that app today? I'm pretty sure you guys all built
I
today.
did. It was a little cumbersome in the beginning.
It's a lot of
Little hard.
information, man.
A lot to get in there and try to figure it out. And we do have a little news from that update also. And it was, with help with the outreach of you guys, of being involved in this whole little live show that we started a year ago. They launched their education and training section, and our PDR workshop is listed on there. So it'll direct you to our direct website. But we appreciate your support. It definitely couldn't happen without you guys being out there. So we were pretty excited. I knew it was coming. These guys came to my room and I said, "Hey, did you see Mobile Tech RX?" They're like, "Yeah, the update's great." I'm like, "No, look at this." And Chris is like, "What?" So,
Yeah, that was the icing on the cake that day for sure. I was definitely humbled by that. I text John. I was like, "What in the world? Thanks for the nice surprise." So that was good.
Yeah, I used it today for the first time and completely forgot about the update. I remember the icon, changed colors. Then I went into it as I'm trying to, get the work order for the customer. I'm like, oh, man, this is so confusing because, it's just super confusing.
Different.
There's so many more options now, which is really nice. And the interface is so clean. And with the options that you do have now, it makes everything even more detailed, which just makes you look more professional, which just makes this app even better than it already was.
Yeah. Yep. So if you haven't already, I don't think there's an app out here that puts this much time in making sure the tech has everything at their hands to complete a sale. I don't do parts often, but today I had to, and I don't work off the iPad. So today I had to figure out the iPad and find parts from the iPad. So that was pretty interesting. But I don't think the customer even knew I was stumbling finding this stuff. So, but definitely the update was a tremendous accomplishment for them. I think they worked 2 years on redesigning that, or a year and a half redesigning their app. So definitely a good thing. Anything else we're missing from day one before we go over our tool haul? It probably will take some time for what we bought. We bought a lot of stuff.
No, I think that's it.
All right. So for the good stuff, the meat and potatoes, who wants to go first?
Dave
I'll
can go first.
I'll go first. You know what? I'll go first because I have the least out of everyone here. So during MTE this year, I did not get a chance to. As much as I was preaching these last couple episodes on, all I want to do is go touch things and just touch all the tools, see all the tools, then I'll go home and buy them. I did not get a chance to pretty much look at anything. All of you guys were coming up, introducing yourselves, which I was completely valuing over the tools. I can check out the stuff online when I get home. So I was trying to give all my attention to you guys. So the only thing I was able to pick up was the new Edgy Tools no roll knockdown.
That thing is a beast, man.
And I was able to use it today for the first time, and this is staying in the pocket next to the VIP. So this knockdown is a double what is it, like a double use knockdown. You can use this side here, this little short side, and you can knock down here, or you can use it as a regular knockdown on the flat panel. And the justification for having this little L at the top is kind of for when you are around like an antenna or something like that, and it's sometimes hard to use your hammer and your knockdown at a weird angle. You have this nice little L shape with a handle, and you can hit this side here as well as under a mirror. If you have a dent under a mirror or something like that on a driver or passenger side, sometimes it can be difficult to stick that knockdown in there and also hit with the hammer as well. So this gives you just a little shorter throw, and you can hit it from this side as well. So, and it also comes with, so you put these little rubber caps on, but then it also comes with the polished tip on each side. So these just little caps just kind of pop right off, and you can use both sides of this. So
Like a VIP.
like a VIP. And you
Yeah.
just throw this right back on there. And I really like this plastic that it uses for a cap. I was using it today and I really, really enjoyed that. So this is the no roll from Edgy Tools. I highly recommend it if you guys don't have it. It's a really, really good knockdown. It's a really good weight. Not too heavy. It's not too light. It's kind of like a pencil, I don't know, holder or whatever in the middle here, that little spongy material. I'm sure that I'll get worn down over time, but highly recommend the Edgy Tools no roll knockdown. That is the only tool I was able to bring home from the Mobile Tech Expo 2019. So that's why but I love it. I'm glad that is the tool that I do have.
I use this on a Hell card today for about 6 hours. And that's it. I'm scratching probably every knockdown that I have, and I'm going with this. I mean, it's too soon to say that, but yeah. I actually brought that home with me because I wanted to show you guys. So yeah, definitely purchase this. I think he's out of stock now. But if you probably hit him up, you'll still get the MTE price. I really don't know, but definitely stout. I think Dave, I text you and told you that you need to try this now. And you were like, next car I'll try it on, and that was it.
Yeah, the car I was using it on probably didn't really warrant to use this knockdown. I was moving a lot of metal this morning on one vehicle, so this was going to be a little more for fine tuning. And I was trying to get that car done as fast as possible. So I was going to wait till I actually had a vehicle that I can really understand how the knockdown works. So later in the day, I was able to go to a wholesale lot and really check it out. And yeah, it works.
It's a beast.
It's a great knockdown.
And so also, guys, they have packs of additional caps. I think those caps will last a long time. They're like a hardened plastic. So, but he does sell caps in a little package. I think this package is like $25. So don't worry about it if you lose them or anything like that. He has plenty of them. Ryan, you want to go?
I can go next. I'll blow through it. Yeah. So one of my big purchases was the new VIP knockdowns. I was kind of excited. They're a little pricey. I bought both of them with all the tips. It was like $230.
Wow.
Ooh.
But I really wanted it, and I really enjoy the VIP. Yeah, this tip really, really got me going. Do a lot of bad door edges, and this is supposed to be really good with that hard line that they have, when it makes that hard line. So I got two of them. The reason I got two of them is I hate changing tips all the time. So I'm going to be running with two VIPs in my pocket. So this weird size tip is one of his newest additions. And then he came out with the really thin tip. So here's his standard tip, and then this is this really thin. So the diameter is just smaller. It's supposed to do finer, high spots. And he also came out with a black plastic VIP knockdown. So that should be, I'm kind of excited.
Did you use it today?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. I kind of kept all this stuff in my garage just because we got in late and it snowed and it was a crazy day. Then we're going into this little red satchel from Edgy Tools. That's what he wanted me to call it, was a satchel. It comes with a bunch of mini tips. This is another tool that I was excited about. I saw release right before MTE. Comes with a little extension. This is this crease killer. It's like a little rounded, not real sharp mini tip. This is the one tip out of the whole batch I was like, I've got to have. super sharp. Reason I needed to have it is I do a lot of fenders. This is going to work really, really well with the dent dial, getting deep in that edge.
Maybe able to bring that dent out in the window where you can even.
Yeah. And I think that's one of his things. A lot of the guys, he said with the flat bars, we're having trouble with tips.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one of his crown killer caps that go on this this tip here. Then I believe this is the same end that is on your knockdown, that little mini. He's calling it a small, what did he call it? Small pecker or something. Dave's got some weird names. So comes with 2 caps. It's just like the 2 caps that you have on your knockdown. And this one I didn't quite understand. He made this, and originally I thought it was a blending tip. But it's actually a knockdown tip. He says it does not blend very good. So we'll have to give you an update on this. I'm just going to roll through these pretty quick because we'll be here for an hour and get nothing off on the content. Got another one of these. It's his Knockers blending tip. I absolutely love this blending tip. It's by far my favorite out there. Works awesome. And it's super hard. It doesn't seem to make marks like a lot of them do. The Dead Center Variety Pack from Kiko.
Yeah, I was using that today.
I mean, it has some of the smallest heads on the tips out there. I didn't believe it at first. I did a little demonstration with Jonathan from Kiko, and he would prove me wrong. I mean, he really did. I'm like, that thing's way too small. It's not going to pull any different. And pow, here's the mini lifter. You do it yourself. And pow. And I'm like, okay, I got it. But yeah, I mean, you can see how small that tip head is. So you said you used them today?
I used those today on the hail car, and it was pulling hard. I mean, you could not snap pull those.
No.
It was a Kia. The dents were, decent, nickel, almost some quarter. But I was shocked. The dead center, and I went like a step above, like I would have ran on the green tabs, I guess the smallest green tabs, and their dead center pulls. I didn't compare, but it was pulling pretty good. It was definitely too much, I would say.
So I placed a pretty large order with Dentcraft. They gave me this nice little beer koozie or koozie, whatever you want to call it. I ordered almost all of their whale tails, some double bends, some window guards. I'm really trying to stock a truck, so I made quite a bit of purchases. Some tools here that my good old buddies here explained to me that I had to have. It's some what is it? CarePoint tools.
Yes.
Tiny little hook, ratcheting handle for the tops of doors, and little tight access. They did not have the one that you and Dave got last year, but this is a little longer. It's the same style. It's just a little longer of a shaft. Still has the ratcheting handle. So we're going to see. Price tag on these weren't bad. I think they both were $75, and then they were 20% off. So I really like the ratcheting. I use this today, and the ratchets, it's there. Like whatever they have going on, they figured it out.
Yeah. I think it's just that it's enclosed. It really is not in the elements almost.
Some new glue here. It's called Cam Auto. These guys were super nice. I talked to them for probably an hour and a half. I was at the Kiko booth, and Jonathan looks at me and says, you need to go over there and buy this glue before they run out. I was like, okay. So I run over there. They were using a demo on this, and they glued some tabs to a front reinforcement of a car. And with a forklift, they were lifting it completely off of the ground with just this glue. It was craziest thing I've ever seen. So Chris got some too. We're going to give this a run. I've got some cars this week that I'm going to give this a try on. I mean, it may yank the paint off. I don't know. So we're gonna give it a whirl, see what happens. And it wasn't real expensive. I think it was like what, $28 for 20 sticks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not too bad.
for sure.
PDR finesse paddle. Bought a bunch of stuff
go
from
wrong.
them this year. Can't go wrong with a paddle.
Those are cheap too at the show. They're like what, 15, 20 bucks?
I don't even know. I spent so much money. I don't even know what it cost. I was just grabbing what we needed and went from there. But I think it's 15 or 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Got a new robo lifter for Shane, my new guy. Picked one of them up. Now here's the good stuff. So we're going to start with PDR Finesse. I have their ultimate door tool. This is one of my favorite standard door tools for an average just door ding guy. Ratcheting handle. It's got the regular rounded tip on the end. It's number 36. I've been using it for years and love it. Can't go wrong with it. PDR Finesse ratcheting handle 245. This thing is another beast. Super, super sharp end. I use this thing all the time. Big, long kick. Works awesome. I think Chris and I got this last year at MTE. I use it at least every day. Another ratcheting handle, but it's a 245. Now, one tool that I did not get last year that I bought this year that I really, really wanted. It is the 245S. Super sharp tip, ratcheting handle, but it's half the size. So it's just a shorter version of the 245. And I have these little arms, so that's why I really wanted to get this. Sometimes I struggle with the length of these tools, but this is an awesome thing. I use this today, and let me tell you, so happy that I got it. Got some more stuff that I got from my guy Shane. It is the 51 from PDR Finesse. It's a Zirkish rod in his set. I use it all the time. You really need this.
That is the tool that when I first started learning PDR, that is the tool that they put in my hand. When I was first training, they said, "Here you go," and I said, "This is really sharp." They said, "Yep, use it."
It is very sharp. Very sharp. We have the 1/8 MT, so it's 18 inches long, super sharp Zerk rod again from PDR Finesse. You've got to have these in your arsenal. Both of these get used daily.
Yes,
daily. I mean, these two are actually for Shane. So I was trying to pick up all the stuff I know that we were going to use on the daily. So since I spent an hour with Kaz, and how the whole thing came about was I was outside at the bar one night talking to Thomas, which is Casimir's son, and I was explaining to him I did not quite understand the whole Stanliner thing. So he pretty much came to me and was sorry that I didn't understand it, but I was just explaining I'm kind of doing a lot of research, and I'm an old school tech, and I'm just trying to figure it out, before I buy a bunch of stuff. So he said, "You come over, you see me, I put my dad on you." And I'm like, okay, I figured he's just going to talk to me or whatever. Well, I literally spent an hour and a half with him one-on-one going over these tools. Him, and then he has a local guy. His name's Ish. So this thing is called the Talon. And let me tell you, these are the Ferrari of tools. They really are. And that's what I told him outside. I said, these are pieces of art. I mean, this is not chrome dip. This is polished stainless. It comes with a leather boot over the end. It's got their tag made out of leather that's all pressed leather. I mean, you could not ask for a better quality of a tool. So this is one of the tools that they had me, playing with. And it's super, super sharp right here. This is actually what you're pushing with. And it was so clean on the pushes. I was like blown away. Absolutely blown away. So I ended up buying it. So now I'm part of the Stanliner family. And Casimir speaks little English. But let me tell you, his technique is like nothing you'll ever see. I mean, It looks like he's making love to the panel. I mean, it is amazing. And he's super genuine in trying to show you how his product works. We also have from Stanliner, it's called the Caribou. They did not have many of these. It's not on their website. It looks like the front of a Viking ship is what they said. They said that this is supposed to be really, really good inside the door handle hole, like where the little cap is for the door handle on the front door. The handle piece will go here, and it'll go on the other side of that handle where you have trouble getting through that hole. So it's for tight access, but mainly he said that that'll probably be your biggest use, slip underneath that handle section. I haven't used it yet. I'm sure I'll use it here in the next week or so, but it's the same finish as the other one, super high polished, super sharp on this end. Leather tag, like we said. I mean, it's the Ferrari of tools. There's no doubt about it. One last thing I got, and I'm done, Chris. I've been taking up all the time here. So I've got Ian from Mobile Tech Shade. I have his original Mobile Tech Shade, like his actual. It's been 4 years, like his actual original one. We were talking. So he pretty much said, "Oh no, you need an updated version," and sent me a brand new. Got me a brand new Mobile Tech Shade for Shane. So we're going to do a little comparison on the old unit and the new unit and see how much better it is. But he sold me on this 4.5-inch Sea Sucker suction cup instead of the Woods. And he was explaining what the difference was on the suction, the length that it suctions. And he actually is using a 4.5-inch suction cup to his window, and he's a big guy. I mean, how big would you say he is, Dave? I don't know, 6'5". I mean, he's a big dude hanging off of his window of his truck on this suction cup, completely off the ground. So we're going to see. We're going to give it a whirl and go from there.
Hey, Ryan, how much is that cup?
149, I believe, is what he said at the Mobile Tech Expo. I know he's got a 6-inch Sea Sucker too. That's 189. So now I think that's the whole suction cup and the mount for the Mobile Tech Shade. So it's a great umbrella. I've literally used the same umbrella for 4 years. I mean, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. Got some holes in the umbrella where it's just kind of worn through, but when you're using it every day, that's what happens. Yeah. So, but a great dude. I mean, I've known him a long time, and he's just a good dude. So, good industry guy. Always does a bunch of giveaways at MTE. That's all I got. You know.
Oh man, well that's a big tool haul for you.
Yeah, you know what? Like. There was the race snake that I wanted to get for the or no, it was a pirate hook that I wanted to get from Stanliner, but it wouldn't fit in my luggage. So
there was one tool that I was watching Bryce Kelly practice with, and I had asked him, I said, if you needed one, which one would you get? And it was I forget which one. And so I go to get it, and they don't have it. It was a certain size of it. They had the tool, I think, in the 1/2-inch size, but he said that the 7/16 size, I think it was the better size to get. It has a little more flex or something. And they didn't have it. So that would have been my other tool that I would have gotten. But unfortunately, that didn't happen.
That's all I got.
Well,
that's
all you got. As my nice, beautiful camera failed. I'll get started on what I purchased. One of the things that I went to the show to get actually was the Glexo.
And you got it. I can't believe that. I'm so proud of you, Chris. Everybody's got to give Chris a round of applause here. We've been talking cold glue for a year.
So this is a cold glue. And Brian, you don't have a video out on cold glue, do you?
Not yet.
All right, so it's basically like, I guess some like tar or sticky. They call it. I mean, it's the same thing Ryan has, a sticky tape. He did a demonstration for me, and I was just shocked at how much this pulls. So I went there to buy it. I didn't care if I was able to play with it or not. I was just gonna try it out and buy it. I do like the tabs that he makes.
Man, they're
Yeah, that's so much better. So this goes into your slide hammer and you just tighten it down. So they just allow this not to spin when you slide it into your slide hammer, and then you just twist it and it tightens it down to the slide hammer, and then you can pull.
the build
so
quality on those are amazing.
I mean, I think that honestly, that's what you're paying for. I mean,
That
it's
whole
ability.
package looks really nice. From the outside packaging to the
Yeah,
box.
it presents very well.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
have like
even
a
get
half
one.
dollar.
They sold
Yeah,
out so fast.
yeah, he did. This is a $50 one, roughly. This is probably about a 2-inch tab, and then he makes a thin, kind of like crease tab, which I would say is almost at 2.5 inches. Then he makes a bigger crease tab, is what comes in his kit. He was selling the kit for $250 when we got there as a show special, but I think they go for around $290 online. You may be able to call them and get the same price. I don't know, but and I say that, guys, because some vendors do offer pricing until like the next week, because obviously he didn't have a bunch of these, so he may still honor his price.
He's not going to have them until March, is what he said.
Oh, well, I bought 3 of them, so sorry. So I went by. Let's just go through the edgy stuff. I went by Edgy Tools, Dave Streen, and then because I didn't get to his actual booth, I met up with him in the actually in his hotel room, and was able to buy a lot of stuff. So let's go through this stuff. So this is the crap tape, is what he calls it.
Love that
It's
stuff.
basically a terrible tape. So Ryan was talking about it on the show before, and we'll review this crap tape, they call it. And then the edgy tape. This is just a Tessa tape. When you buy on like Amazon, I think you just tend to buy the wrong one. So I always get it from Mercedes, but it's the same price if I just go through him. So just a restock on that one. But he has a new kit that allows you to polish your tools. Not just polish, but just takes the rust, kind of restore your tools back to its luster. And basically, it's like a two or three steps. So I believe this is the abrasive pads, the most abrasive pad that you use first. And then he calls this the good rub. So it's like a sanding block. And then he has a PDR tool protector, pretty much like an oil that he uses. He said it prevents rust to almost up to a year. So I thought that would be pretty cool for certain tools we have. One of the dent dials rust, and some of the older tools that I have. I have some old custom made tools that I don't know what steel they use, but they're rusted. I don't even grab them because they're so rusted. So I'm going to try it on that. Probably do a little video on this, on the edgy stuff. And then going on over to the Kiko side, guys. I never picked up these nice Viper tabs, so I decided to pick these up, and I'm basically going to use these for the wheel wells, basically rear quarter panel, to get that perfect angle or wherever I need. I mean, this thing can almost make a circle if you want to. So they come in a pack of, looks like 25, and they just snap in with a little bit of force here. There you go. Woo. So they just snap in, and then they can move. So I thought that was unique. And then you just go around, just pull it, or use the K-bar to pull it, I think. So that's a unique tab. Yeah. And then back to Kiko. Sorry, I'm all around my table. Back to Kiko, I bought the Swan. So, and the reason for me buying the Swan here, guys, is I do some training. This may be easier for the guys to get used to knocking down, even though I want to throw them in the fire first, more so than giving them an ability to quickly learn. But I may use this a lot when I'm doing any type of tutorials or displaying knockdown on my videos. That way you won't have my arm or hand in the way as I'm holding a knockdown. You'll have the nice swan. I can angle it a certain way, and then you can see the actual knockdown tool hit the metal. So that's the reason why I bought that. I went by the Dent Engineer Tools and bought the ratchet clamps that everybody basically had was using. I don't know, 2 years ago. Ryan, don't you have one of these?
I have one. Yes, I think
Okay.
they're like $30,
Okay.
$28.
So so it used a paracable, was it paracord or whatever, paracable they call it. And basically what happens is I'm always buying straps. My guys are always losing straps. I can't find their straps. So I'm gonna make sure that these are attached to the hood stand and never leave the hood stand. So that's why I got a pack of that. So and then there was this gentleman, I forgot his name. But he was only selling this at the show. So I don't, if you guys want one, I guess just reach out to me. Like I said, best is on Instagram. And so he was selling this knockdown. It's quite heavy. And it's a homemade knockdown. He said he built them in his garage on his lathe. And it's a Cobalt like quick latch. He's not trying to rebrand it like it's his or anything. And it's just a quick tool that you can change each tip. You can get the steel tip, whatever this plastic is, the black plastic, and then obviously the clear plastic. So
It's
you
like
can
a
just
root beer.
change.
Okay.
Yeah, the root beer, the
Yeah, I
black.
thought that was an interesting setup. I like how the quick release and you have two tips in one almost.
Yeah.
How much was that,
so
Chris?
$60.
Huh.
And honestly, I bought this tool. I haven't used it yet, but I bought this tool just because he told me he hand built this tool. And you can see the imperfections in the tool. I mean, he's not trying to cover it up. He said he was only going to do one run of them, and as soon as they run out, that's it.
But I mean, that right there, having the two tips in one, don't have to switch out. Like Ryan is going to carry two VIPs because he doesn't want to change out tips. Yeah. So having, that right there is going to be huge.
Yeah. And what's the other side? The side that you hit with the hammer, what's on there?
I mean, it's just steel all the way through. It's just steel all the way. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I unwrap it,
that's cool.
He pretty much went to, Fastenal and got most of these materials, but he did it, by hand. And I was talking to him, and I just had to buy one. Just it seems like it's just a conversational starter with other dent guys. So, now I went ahead and went further into the Cam Auto and bought the actual pieces that lift that car up in the air.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know when I would ever use this set, but if I need to pull someone out of a ditch.
So what it is you glue those blue rails down, and there's a video on Facebook of a guy fixing a Jaguar and glue pulling the whole thing, and there's that rod that runs through. That's the same thing. What it's supposed to do is distribute the weight. So when you pull it, it's pulling all of that whole area at one time, or you can adjust it to pull one area or the other. It's an old body shop thing. So they used to weld tabs on and stick a rod in the middle and then hook it to the frame machine and pull. It's the same thing.
I bought that video when I was over by you, and I said, "What is he doing?" So this is that same setup. Okay.
So basically, I've already kind of put it together. So this is a flexible tab, and you just wherever you need the rings at,
slide
them in, and you would glue this area, and
What are
then
you
you
pulling
slide.
with?
So you got to slide something through. You slide it all the way through, and I have a titanium rod or whatever, 10 millimeter rod, and then you hook onto that and you pull that.
Yes,
Currently, right now, I have nothing to pull it. So
it's supposed to be
this
like a
will
wiggle
literally,
wire.
yeah, this will literally be at a body shop where I can just hook a chain to it technically and just
This is
pull
Cam
it.
Auto.
Yes.
Cam Auto, yeah. So they're the first to implement, I believe, some of the glue mixed in with a body shop. So I know Kiko is going that direction, but I believe they were one of the first, or at least the European side of it. But they showed a video of them lifting up an entire car with, I believe, a tab like this size, wasn't it?
That's it.
Brian?
Yeah, that's the exact
This
tab that he used.
Yeah,
And
he
it's
just
exactly
literally
like
hooked
the
it.
body guy's wiggle wire. It's exactly the same thing to where they would weld on that wiggle wire and then pull it at certain points. Exactly the same concept.
Mhm.
They do.
So,
Chad from Endeavor bought their complete kit. It comes with a
mhm.
whole bar, the metal rod, some really crazy in-depth tabs. So when he figures that out in the next month or two, I'll make sure I get him on here for a quick split second to explain the tool, because we were at dinner and he says, "Man, you got to see what I bought." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So
Well, to keep going, this is not my tool, but
Martin,
Martin,
look at
sorry,
that.
Martin. Hey, his name's right on it. Bought the Drew's tool hammer. I do own a Drew's tool hammer. I believe that the handle on the Drew's tools is one of the best, in my opinion. They actually make a fatter handle one. This is the slimmer handle one.
I like that little
So
pad. I didn't realize that pad was in there.
yeah, it feels nice. Marty, hopefully you'll be getting this after today because I need to ship this out to you. But
Yeah, I
and
told him
also
today.
also they tap the center, and so Kiko makes a little, they call it a puck, and so the puck is a little bit smaller than this, and you obviously lighter, and you can actually thread it in on the side. So when you're finished blending, if you want to use your knockdown, you just use the puck. And so I thought that was pretty clever for them to do. I don't know any. Martin's gonna be mad that I pull his tool out, but
It'll be okay.
so that's it right there. So, Drew's tools, knockdown hammers, I believe are pretty good, at least in my eyes. And then the last thing that I have, actually one more from Edgy here, is I got this. Actually, he gave it to me, just to try out. And honestly, I didn't. I was like, I don't really need it. But after he showed me, so he normally runs just the old one it just didn't have this wing. And so you would just have to, goes up against the tire and your tool leverages off of this little puck. And really you have no way of kind of supporting this little pad while you're wrenching. And so with the wing, you put your two fingers in between. This goes up against the tire, and you just wedge right here. So you're basically your hand is not going to be fatigued by leveraging off your hand when you're going through the front fender majority of the time.
That is
I thought
Daniel
that was pretty
Grom's
cool.
addition to that. Daniel Grom came up with that.
Yes. So I got to give credit where credit. He did say Daniel Grom did do that. So he makes various lengths you can add on. He's going, I think, redo the tool a little bit, but you can order this with the wing. So I thought this was pretty cool, guys. And the last tool that I have was the Care Point. And much respect to Edgy. I saw him in the hallway and he said, "Hey, this doesn't fit in my luggage. Do you want it?" I was
Wow.
like, oh my. And so I eyeballed this when I picked up the Glexo, the cold glue, because you had to pay for it at the same place. And yeah, so I was blessed to stumble across this CarePoint flat bar, which is similar to the Dent Wizard, right, guys?
Yeah.
Correct.
So
And we actually were eyeing it up at the PDR tool release the night before. So
yeah, so
Yeah, it's that type of flat bar is really, really nice to have. My only comment on it is I wish that curve on the one end was a little harder, but
Yes.
you know, it's still something. It's still a great tool to have. If someone doesn't have a flat bar, I think that's going to be something that I'm going to start recommending. I want to use it first, but at least that other side as well too. You can use so.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
polished on the other side like a spoon.
Yep. So I I think Dent Wizard has, everybody knows about the Dent Wizard flat bar. I've been deprived of flat bar usage in the first 10 years of pushing. So I have like 3 of them now. So and I still go to tools, but so let's get to the questions. It is 9:56, so we'll probably extend the live chat for the questions, guys, but I am done with my tools. Dave, is there anything that we need to answer quickly?
There's not.
Okay. I thought we had more. I know there was one guy that had a question.
I think it was definitely. I've been watching on Facebook about the venue. A lot of guys were really upset that the convention center was probably a 15-minute ride on the very select shuttle that they had. A lot of guys were complaining the rooms were dirty. Mine wasn't too bad.
No issues here.
But it was definitely a little bit of a different year. Guys were kind of spread out all over, and the venue being so far away. But obviously we made the best of it. The outreach was freaking awesome. It really was.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the only complaint I would have is the transportation to the venue. Unfortunately, the venue was across a highway, and I just didn't expect that many people needing to go to the convention all at 8 o'clock. And so Uber was definitely transportation of choice at 8-9 o'clock in the morning.
But the restaurant food was banging. That was some good food. Service was not good. Service was not good at the restaurant, but the food was awesome.
At all, yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, I had a really great time. Everyone who came up and introduced themselves to me, thank you for doing that. And
yes.
I was hoping I was able to, answer any questions if I could. But me meeting everyone was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Putting faces to the names here, Push and Polish, and there's a couple other guys here, that we met. So, that was really nice to finally hang out and talk stuff, or talk dents and PDR with guys. Me and Chris actually went to IHOP at one point. I think it was Wednesday night, and it was like 12:30 at night. Nothing was open. We're like, hey, let's go to IHOP real quick. And one of the viewers of the show happened to walk in probably about 45 minutes into our meal, and introduce himself and say hi, and able to ask us questions right on the spot. And that was super humbling and super nice, because sometimes when you're out here pushing, you have questions and someone's not going to answer right away online. I try to extend myself to everyone here and in person. If someone does have a question or something, if I can answer it, I'm going to try to the best of my knowledge. So I try to make myself available as possible to everyone. Meeting everyone was super, super, like, just a cool experience for me.
One thing that really stood out, there's a guy on here that's been on here for a long time, the Dent Ding King. His name is Lee. He's an older fella. He's a year, working on his year in. Gave all 3 of us a thank you note. And it was just
hard.
It was really, really thoughtful and just stuck with me throughout the whole trip. And I was like, this is what this is all about. You know what I mean? The guys coming up and talking to us, the guys that are excited to see us. And I mean, we had a guy fly from Belgium because of the show. So it was super nice. And it was just a good feeling that we were able to sit there and have conversation with these guys. And I mean, the guy from Belgium pretty much hung out with me besides when I was sleeping, which was fun, having breakfast with him, getting where he's from, what Paintless is like there, what what the differences are. So it was an awesome time, man.
Was there anything that you guys didn't see at the expo that you were expecting to be there? That you didn't see at the expo that you thought was going to be there and wasn't?
No.
No,
Alright.
I don't think so.
And Ryan, did you find out anything more about the Vegas setup at all, or did either of you did?
No,
You
they
know-
were very quiet about it. There was not a whole lot of information. I was talking to Mike Toledo about it at one point of the day, and he was still said he wasn't 100% on what the whole plan was. So, I don't know. I guess we'll get more information here shortly.
You know what wasn't there though that was there last year was the hot box, and I'm not a big fan of it. Was it?
It
Was
was
it
in
there?
the Power PDR booth.
Yeah, a
Was
lot
there.
of guys
okay,
this year
okay,
teamed up,
okay.
so it's kind of
Ah,
harder.
okay.
A lot of these companies didn't have their own booth. Some of them doubled up or tripled up
'Cause
to
of
kind of, I think,
expenses.
keep costs down, and because there was added cost, I think, this year for vendors. So,
Yeah.
so a lot of guys kind of doubled up. So,
Is there
It's
any
a
other
good show,
questions?
man. The passion there was unreal. The pure passion of new Dent guys was craziness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Dave, actually, you came in too, Chris. Me, Dave, and Chris, a buddy of mine from LA, Steve Brown. We were in the hallway for like 2 hours while the education day was going on, just talking and just Dent
Hilarious.
stuff. So
Yeah, and he does PDR in Beverly Hills, so he has
I
some
mean, he does.
stories. Boy, he has some stories to tell you. Was it dent mechanic or something? What is
Yeah,
it?
Dent Mechanic. Yep. Yep.
CA
Dent
or something?
Mechanic CA Cali. Super nice guy. Has that LA persona about him and swagger. But dude, I've known him a couple years and he is just a genuine true. He won the drunk Dent Olympics this year. So
Yeah,
you know.
which I heard was not I want to touch briefly on that. I want to be honest with you, because someone asked, "How do I feel if it's degrading the industry?" And I think this time, I think they're gonna probably rename it next year, because that was definitely made a little bit of
There
bad
was a
publicity.
certain person involved with it. I think the location was not very well thought out.
It's normally a networking. Like the name is what it is, but you get guys out of the element. Not out of the element, but you get the raw guys. You get to talk to them. But now, I don't know. I didn't go, so I can't speak on it too much. But
it was just a bad spot. This was different because it was a resort.
there's people who actually owned some
Yeah.
of these
Yeah.
pretty much condos. So you're also infringing on someone else's place that they pay to have. So this place probably wasn't the best for that sort of setup. But, I think renaming it probably would be best because, but it is nice to see if, because you can't, like, you can go to the Dent Olympics and see like what's going on. But this is like really, really raw. Like super raw. Everyone is around there. You can watch someone fixing something. There's all the PDR techs are, not all, but a lot of PDR techs around there. So, a lot of yelling and screaming and hoopla and stuff like that. But and it's fun and exciting. But this year just did not go very well.
No.
Yeah. Like I said, like you said, Dave, they got one tool. I mean, you just see people just kicking it with tools. They're not under pressure from a Dent Olympics. I think that's why I prefer to go. But maybe the name just needs to be dropped or changed. So did you see the short bridge crease killer?
I did.
I did not.
Yes, I saw
I
it.
did. Thoughts on it? It's hard to say because they weren't really demoing it there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
telling me it pulls, but Kiko stepped up. That dead on center tabs that you have, I mean, they know what they're doing when it comes to moving metal with glue, I think, right now. So that's it, guys, right? Any more questions?
It was a banging show, man. It was. Yeah. I mean, even though, hey, I got to bring this up. Chris's flight was supposed to leave at like 4 a.m. It got canceled, and I got a video last night of him walking up the street in 6 inches of snow in dress boots because his Uber was stuck. So that guy's tired. I'm going to tell you he's tired because I know Chris really well. But
yeah, man, it was an experience from 4 in the morning. Luckily, I knew before I left, and so I left with Dave at 10 in the morning. So I didn't get home until about 10 o'clock that night. The plane was flying. They were hovering for an hour and a half in the air because, or not hovering, but circling because we could not land because of the weather. Got the green light. Baggage was all messed up because obviously we were 2 hours, landed after we were supposed to be there, or about an hour and a half. Anyway, so yeah, what an experience, and I had fun though. It is what it is. The whole trip was fun though.
BWI, man, there were people sleeping everywhere. I've never seen it like that. It looked like a shelter.
My flight was delayed by an hour.
Yeah. So hope everybody got back safely. And if you're back or been pushing, I know Dave, Ryan, everybody's pushing today.
Yeah,
as well.
I get it.
So Excel, it was nice. Nice to see you, Steve. Nice to talk to you. Thanks for the ideas and tips on the YouTube channel. So that's it, guys. That's the end of the show, right?
That's it.
Don't forget to go over to iTunes for the podcast. Please show us some support over there if that's the platform that you want to get this information. Guys, y'all want to sign out real quick?
Yeah, Ryan from Baltimore, PS Dent Repair. I'm pumping out some videos here in the next 2 weeks, so check them out.
Dave out of Chicago, Windy City Dent Repair. You can reach me at Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just message me if you have any questions. Give me a shout.
And Chris, Dentless Touch, Washington, D.C. area. Hope you guys have a good night, and we'll see you next week. Peace out, guys.